You can only change what you own. You can only change yourself. When a human says, I am, what does that include? My friend would say, I exist, and that's enough. I guess what he's saying is, I am, therefore I am. And in absolute sense, I must agree with him because that's absolute true. But still, while we are in a human life form, we are everything that makes us human. We are everything that makes us us. And that's all our thoughts, all our emotions, everything that made us who we are. We are our genes that we inherited. We are whatever we brought with us from other lives. And we are every experience that we ever had in this life. And this is what makes us unique. But it also makes us not exactly as other would like us to be. And it also doesn't make us exactly as we would like us to be. And that's why we often hide from ourselves and run away from ourselves. But what do we achieve with that? Because usually people run away from themselves from one situation to another, and then they wonder why every situation is more or less the same. That's because they are the same. Because when you run away from yourself, you still run mm, as a whole. Every part of you is running. You did not left anything behind. While you are running, you don't notice, but you are still you. Every aspect of you is still there. So you are exactly the same I am you were in the previous situation, and then it's logical that the next situation is more or less the same. So some people, or unfortunately most people, run away from themselves all of their lives. And even though they came to different situations, what what is bothering them about themselves always remain the same. And what is bothering them about the situation and others also remain the same because they remain the same all of their life. So, if we want to improve ourselves, if we want to change ourselves, if we want to get rid of certain aspects of ourselves, it is obvious that running away from ourselves is not the answer. The answer is the total opposite. The answer is that we should own ourselves. But what does that mean? Don't we already own ourselves? And if we don't, how can we then own ourselves? Well, first of all, we should find the courage to know ourselves because know knowing ourselves means knowing every aspect of ourselves, every the smallest piece of us, the smallest aspect of us. And we should not exclude anything because there are parts of us that we like and parts of us that we don't like. And we should realize that they all exist. Because if we don't realize that something exists, we have no chance of dealing with it. Then we should embrace ourselves. What does that mean? I I get a picture in my head when I say that. I I see myself hugging every part of myself, hugging every part of myself and saying, "Hello, I see you. You are one of us. You are part of us. You are part of me." And then comes the most important part. We must accept ourselves. And that means we must accept every single aspect of ourselves. Those parts of us that we like are easy to accept, but we must accept also the parts of us that we don't like. And I'm not using must in a way, for example, a Christian would use it. It's not something you must do because you were told that you should do it. It's something that you want to do, but if you want to know why you want to do it, listen to me to the end and then come back to this part and you will realize why you want to do it. Because then the next stage is own yourself. Own yourself means be the entirety of yourself, be every aspect of yourself. Know you are every aspect of yourself. Don't have any doubt about it. Be proud of who you are. Be all you are. It's hard to explain this part because you have to feel it. There are no words to describe it. You have to be absolutely sure that all your parts together, they make who you are, and that is you. And when you feel it, you get absolute power over all parts of you because you will always only have power over you. You will always only be able to change yourself. And now that all parts of you are you, you have the power to change them. And if for some reason some parts of you did not become you, if you were unable to recognize them, embrace them, or accept them, well, those part, those parts you cannot change. Those parts will remain the same. They will still be you, but not that part of you that you have control over. So until you accept them, until you own them, they will be there, but you will have no power over them. Maybe I can use an example to try to clarify what I mean. Let's say that a person drinks too much or that that person uses drugs. If that person doesn't want to accept that he has a drinking problem, then no one can help him because he has no problem. Then maybe he will accept that he has a drinking problem. Then we can do maybe something about it. But still, he accepted that he has a drinking problem. So that's something outside of him. That's something he has. He is him, and then he has a drinking problem. If we solve his problem, and the modern medicine can do this, that's still something he has and he will always carry with him. This is a drunk that it is no longer a drunk, but he can never taste alcohol because tasting alcohol will remember him that he likes it. On the other hand, when he accepts that he is a drunk, that is a part of him, that is who he is, then he has a power to change that. To change that in a way that it will go away. A new him can be a person who is not a drunk. That means that in a way it is as he never was. But he can do this complete transformation only when he is transforming himself and not when he is transforming something he has. That would also mean, and don't do this at home, but it would also mean that he can now drink occasionally and it would have no influence over him because he is not a drunk. Let me give you another example, um, so that I clarify a little bit. I don't want anyone who used to have a drinking problem start drinking. And Simon says that now he can. No, no, no. I'm not saying that. But I once heard Bashar saying that you can, if you change yourself, you become a different person. And then you are not anymore what you used to be. This exact thing happened to me in regard of smoking. I used to smoke and I don't smoke anymore. And I did not change, I did not fix my smoking problem. Fixing, if that's what happened to me. I changed and I'm not a smoker anymore. And I have no problems that other people that used to smoke have. I never, I'm never afraid that, ooh, if I try another cigarette, I will start smoking again. Because I don't feel like I ever smoked. I could smoke right now and it would be just one cigarette, but I have no need for it. No need at all. There was no one day when I wanted to start smoking again. But that's because the transformation happened inside of me. It did not happen to something that I had. I did not have a smoking problem that I solved. I just changed myself. And therefore, I'm saying that if you don't have a drinking problem, but that if you accept that you are a drunk, you could change yourself to the point as if you never had a drinking problem, because you are not a drunk, and that's all. But I must alert you that there is a catch here. because humans like to identify with their situations. And when you accept that you are something, the danger is that you identify with it. Don't do that, especially when we are talking about things like being a drunk. Because if you accept that you are a drunk and you then identify yourself as a drunk, then you're a drunk. There is nothing you have to do because that's who you are. And even more, if you would then fix that problem, you would not be a drunk anymore. So you would have to give up what you identify yourself with. So don't ever identify yourself with, for example, being a drunk. But there is more. Don't ever identify yourself with anything. You are, therefore you are. And that's all the identification you need to have. All other roles you will ever play are just roles. All parts of you that form who you are parts of you. But if you want to have power over them, if you want to have the chance to fix what you want to fix, to grow what you want to grow, to get rid of what you want to get rid of, you don't have to identify with that. Because if you identify with that, you will not want to let it go. So, even though it's tempting to do that, don't identify with those things. And when I was talking about identifying, I gave you a clue on what I want to talk about next. Because up, up until now, I was talking about things you want to fix. But you can do much more than that. You can work on every aspect of yourself. If there is something you like about yourself, you can grow it much more successfully when you own it. If you think that it is something that needs to be fixed, you can fix it now when you own it. When you think that something doesn't belong to you, you can now get rid of it, but not get rid of it in a way that you leave it somewhere along the way. Because if you would do that, that thing would still be there. You can get rid of it by neutralizing it so that it no longer exists. So every positive aspect of yourself can be enhanced, and every so called, because everything is relative, but every negative aspect of yourself can be fixed or improved. And you can do all these things when you own yourself. And you will be able to make these changes faster than you can ever imagine. And the changes will be bigger than you can imagine. And you will want to do it more and more because owning more and more of yourself brings power, brings determination, brings satisfaction, brings calmness that you did not experience before. And it's addictive. But beware, only try to own as much as you can handle, because there is so much of us outside of what we currently own that if we would take everything in at once, it would be too much. It could go wrong. And it is not even the point to take it in all at once, because there will be always something that you can still bring in that you still don't own, because we are so much more than we can even imagine. When we will think that we own everything that we are, we will still be able to find those parts of us that we still don't own. This is a never ending story. But what you can own today, take it in because it's worth it. So, my friend, know yourself, embrace yourself, accept yourself, own yourself. And then this life will become a totally different game for you. If your ego is telling you that it is pointless to like, comment, and share my video with your friends, don't always listen to your ego. Listen to your heart, my friend.